I actually started the gym as most women, I feel. Well, when I was younger, I was bullied, kids horrendous, mean. I was very overweight, and with that I started just attending cardio and gym classes. One day it was completely fully booked, so I just started hopping around on some of the gym pieces outside of the gym class, have no clue what I was doing. And it honestly just clicked from there. I just started doing that instead, going lifting weights. I started writing my own programs. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't get a coach for another 10 years because I just started to really engross myself in learning more and more. Instagram and platforms like that back then weren't anywhere near what they are now. There was only, Reddit and forums, magazines even, right? So I just started to really engross myself in everything. But at the same time, I was studying, I was still dancing. I competed in dance, like I said, from the age of 3 all the way up till I was 21. So it very slowly became a massive part of my life. But it wasn't until, like I said, 2019 that I decided to embark on an actual prep and finally get on stage. So it all started there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Extensive life, when you're young. I can understand because I was bullied when I was younger because I was a bigger kid. I was poor. My family didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
And it's one thing is that bullying can maybe mold you or it can break you depending on the person.
Yes.
So, what was that experience like when you first got on the stage, like, in your first competition?
So, funnily enough, this is probably the worst advice to anyone listening. My first prep was 6 weeks. Um, but with that, I don't know if you are kind of aware of the different categories that are within the UK, within PCA specifically. So we've got toned figure and athletic figure. So you're probably used to seeing women that are more towards the conditioning of athletic figure. Whereas in my first season, I started with the aim of going for bikini, junior bikini, and then pretty much 5 weeks out from that show, my coach at the time was like, actually, try these poses. It was toned figure. And then it was like, cool, we're doing a show in 5 weeks. And I was like, okay. So because at the time, again in 2019, there wasn't really much going on, I wasn't following too many people that had competed either, had no idea what to expect. But I'm very much someone, I just do what I'm told. Like, I don't question things. You could literally push me into the ground. I would eat shit if you wanted me to. No drama. And I ended up doing things like obviously ridiculous amounts of cardio. I think at one point I was like level 16 on the Stairmaster, like things like that, because I was just running up those stairs, right? Kate Bush style, running up that hill. And I just wanted to do whatever that plan was set in front of me. The reason I actually embarked on a bodybuilding prep in, again, a bit of vulnerability, I guess, is my life kind of fell apart. I was like living in London at the time, and everything around me, without going too much into it, like my partner at the time, like my family members were ill, so much was happening, and I just needed to throw myself into something to just focus, to kind of get myself out of bed, right? So I moved home at that point, and I just decided I'm going to do something for me, and that's where I just started this bodybuilding prep. When I finally got on stage, it was with, again, the PCA toned figure, and I absolutely adored it. Obviously, stepping on stage again, I was not well. I wasn't, a shy from stepping on stage. I learned posing through mostly just watching people. And I ended up taking second in my first ever show in an amazing lineup of ladies as well. And then 2 weeks later, I did it again and I took first. So it was a very successful kind of start to my bodybuilding career. The journey itself, even though it was 6 weeks and even though it was brutal, if anything, I think it was the best thing that could have happened, because anything after that was easy, right? Like if I can do that in 6 weeks, then the preps that I do to follow, piece of piss, really. I can do, if I can do the same amount of work, but in 20 weeks, then it's fine. I definitely love the challenge of always trying to be better and do better. And for me, that is what bodybuilding encompasses. And that's what allows me to continue progressing, maybe not even just in bodybuilding, but in life.
Yeah, thing about life, it's always a test of your mindset when you get to a sport, because there's a lot of work to it. Like especially the everyday person, we look at bodybuilding, it's about you're taking steroids, you got a lot, but you are a natural competitor, and it takes a lot more time for you to build those aesthetics when it comes to muscle size conditioning. And I've heard of those divisions. Was it again?
Tone figure,
Tone figure, and also the
athletic
other
figure.
athletic figure, because I think they do it in NABA. That's NBBA.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Lava, yes.
yeah. And it's kind of like, one's kind of like a version of physique and high heels. The other one's kind of like figure. It's just easy.
A bit softer, a bit softer. Yeah.
Less soft and more feminine. So so after that, and I can understand going through, because one thing was about me was I was taking my mom. She was sick for a long time until she passed. And doing this content kind of helped me take care of her. That's tough. And I understand with the situation where, being in a relationship with somebody and just not going well. Like I've talked to quite a few ladies, because that's one thing, what helped them was doing bodybuilding, because, it kind of brought some peace and helped them with the stress.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding, like, yes, it just provides you so much structure and focus that whatever is going on around you, that in those 2 hours a day, or however it might be, however long that you are in the gym, you kind of don't have to think about anything else. You don't have to think about the responsibilities. You don't have to think about what you've got to do when you get home. So it just allows you that 2 hours of kind of mental clarity and peace. So I can definitely resonate with that.
Yeah, so simple. So folks, while we have her here and we're talking with the lovely Miss Mitchell, we're going to do this. We're going to jump to her social media for a bit, not too long. We're just going to look at some stuff, some pictures and videos. You want to follow her link description of the live. So again, if you're interested in working with a posing coach, she's also links there. But I say this to you guys out there, and Hannah, I have to tell you, I have another complexion about myself. I have a crime. I got to admit, I am a muscle person. Oh, y'all ladies, y'all buff people ladies excite me. Sometimes it just, it brings out another part of me. It brings out this other guy. I try to keep him under wraps because he just loves the muscle women. They're so fit and toned. They excite him. They complete him. But, this is why I do this, guys. Guys, we do follow her. You reach out to her. She's a lovely, nice young lady. She's a cute little girl here. Guys, no D pics. Stop it. Control yourself. I know most of the guys here, they're like the big buff women, like
that's it. But I'm not their cup of tea, so it's fine.
But some guys have a taste for like little nice slim little girls. They like to play with. I want to play with like a little bunny rabbit. So but guys, be respectful. Reach out and generate interest, and also support these ladies. That's why I keep telling you guys. Yeah, I think it's freaks. I know, because I'm one of you. So here we're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, link in the description of her live here. So, here he is. And this was when you got your OCB card. What was your show, and what was that feeling for you now you are OCB Pro?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. Like I said, the Yorton Cup has been something that I've been kind of pinned on the board for the past decade, really. So it was absolutely phenomenal to be able to not just achieve that within my first year in America, but be able to have my partner there with me as well. And it was the last show of the season too. So a real cherry on the top, really.
Yeah, and this is Team Day. Who's this? Is this your man?
Yeah, that's my partner, Nat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, your partner. Like, see, when young folks say partner, when I'm saying like this, I'm saying, is that your man, or that's just the work you work with?
That's my man.
That's old fashioned. Y'all see these partners like Robin Banks or something. So that's your man. Okay, all right, we get that straight. I know he probably say, "Hey, I love you, baby, but I'm tired of that partnership. We're not like, hey, it's that 50-50, cool, but I'm your man." That's what y'all young people, y'all your words, like that. But what's his name? And he's compete to us too.
Yeah, so he's called Nat Nathaniel. He's an open assisted bodybuilder, of course. And he will be starting prep in February. So he will be getting back on stage after 4 years of actually not being on stage. So going from a junior to actually stepping on stage with the big boys. So we're getting very ready for that.
Also, as we said earlier, you're a posing coach. And what got you into posing coaching?
So I've actually, as I mentioned right at the beginning, I've actually been a dancer since I was 3 years old. And that, again, obviously took me through gradings and shows and, competitions all across decades, right? And with that, when I started competing in 2019, a lot of the people that I met that year while I was competing, I was just helping them for free. I was just helping them because they reached out to me and they were like, oh, they spoke about my presence on stage and how I was able to, even as a first timer, I was really able to kind of captivate the judges, etc. And so it was really incredible for me to be able to use my 20 years of dancing and be able to combine that with the new passion that I had found for bodybuilding, creating routines, eye walks. And from there, when I started helping people for free, honestly, word of mouth just kind of got around, and it really started to pick up. At the time, I was actually a multiple myeloma cancer research specialist. So I was working in a lab Monday to Friday. So I started helping people on the weekends through video calls and in person. And then I actually took Team Poser with Hannah, is what we're called. You can find us on Instagram and on our website. And when I actually then took that into a LTD, a limited company. And since then, we have grown from not just me, but we are now a team of 7. That is coaches and people that are part of the team of the behind the scenes side of things. As you can see here, this is our 2026 upcoming calendar. So we don't just do video calls. We do in-person lessons across England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Belgium, Italy. We run retreats, we run photo shoots, we run community days, and we even run free weekly calls to educate, empower, and inspire, because we have a massive community behind us. So that is us in a nutshell. It's been absolutely incredible. We've been able to work with hundreds of athletes internationally, bring them not just to the stage, but build them with so much confidence and get them to where they deserve to be, get them the, yes, confidence, but again, like the pro cards, as you just in there.
Yeah, and here she is with her man. She'll out chilling.
That was actually Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, Christmas. How was your Christmas? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was incredible. We actually ended up hosting. So we had all the family around.
That's great. It's cool. Like I said, I would say you have a great aesthetically pleasing physique. It's not, if you look at, especially if you look at the levels in NPC and IFBB and other organizations, it's not too overpowering. I think it's more athletic aesthetic, especially if you're doing figure and doing physique.
I feel so. I currently coach myself, but I was working with Kuba Chellen for 6 years, and he taught me pretty much everything. He was not the one that did a 6-week prep, by the way. That was a different coach. Just have to outline that. But Kuba Chellen actually taught me absolutely everything that I know. He was an incredible mentor within my whole journey through, yes, as an athlete, but also so much within my mental development as well. And through that, we have found different approaches that do work for me. But I feel genetically, my structure, I don't have a tiny waist. I'm not someone that that is genetically gifted in that way. So I've had to build a lot of my upper body to kind of hide the fact that I am quite wide-waisted. With that, I feel the physique division may be something that is my long-term goal, because if I stand next to someone who is genetically gifted with a smaller waist, they will always, of course, look better, different, so physique will probably more so be my long-term goal here, but I also know that takes time, right? So I am 29, but I've only been bodybuilding, I guess, since the past 6 years, and I don't see myself hanging up the heels anytime soon. I could see myself doing this for another 10, 15 years. But that photo right there, that was my start to my end with Kuba Challenge. So like I said, we've done a lot. And I feel that this is still, I'm just scratching the surface. So I can still do more. My focus this off season is actually working quite a lot significantly on my glutes and hamstrings, as I do feel my back shot that lets me down when in a lineup, but also on my arms, because again, I'm 5'8", so I'm very long limbed, so things kind of can look very stringy. Like that shot just looks so stringy, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like I said, the thing is, you want to be more fuller. You want more, size, especially in the glutes, more width and depth in your back, especially if you're going to do women's physique, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing. The back can make or break how you place in the show. If you don't have fullness, roundness, you want that, especially as a figure competitor, in that division, they want that great cap in the shoulders,
Yes.
good width. But like I said, again, you're doing this naturally, which is going to take you a lot more time. I know natural competitors say, because it takes them maybe a year to put on maybe 5 or 6 pounds worth of muscle, compared to an enhanced competitor. It does take them more than maybe barely, I would say, 8 weeks to a month.
Well, the other side of it is you have to think there's also when you are a natural athlete, say you look at blood work, for example, you could have two natural athletes and their predisposition to putting on tissue is still wildly different. So for me, for example, up until very recently, when you look at my blood work, my testosterone is through the floor. It's actually below range. So for me to actually grow muscle, even not even, but as a natural athlete, is even harder when you compare me to another natural athlete, let alone someone that is obviously utilizing exogenous hormones. So that's what is quite funny about the natural world, is everyone thinks, oh, it's a level playing field. No, it's not. Like, there's still people that are still genetically gifted at that. Even their blood work will allow them, if they've got high testosterone levels, they're going to put on tissue better, easier and faster, right? So that's been a part of my journey the past couple of months specifically. I've been going down, which you may have seen through a few of the Instagram posts there, a bit of a gut health journey where I actually was able to link the fact that I was having histamine reactions to a lot of food that I was eating. These histamine reactions were actually causing a flip-flop between my thyroid function, so leading to hyper and then hypothyroidism, which was, of course, affecting my thyroid function. And then also off the back of that, causing my testosterone levels to be so significantly low. So with doing an elimination diet and then a reintroduction diet, and also focusing on quite a few other areas, my focus this off season is going to be naturally increasing my testosterone, and just having overall a healthier functioning body, because a happy body is a responsive body, right?
Yeah, it's smart to use the right practices. Like I said, everybody's different. Like I've seen ladies who are natural competitors who look like they can actually walk on the stage in NPC.
Yeah.
I've seen ladies like yourself who have, still not there just yet, but it's going to take you more time because you don't have that same aesthetic or genetics as that other competitor.
I'm cooking. It's fine. Let me cook.
I think I often when I'm in a conversation with ladies, this is not a race; it's a marathon. And the thing is, you don't want to burn yourself out too soon, and that's usually I think it happens. I think more often with the with the more enhanced competitors, because just
Mm,
recently there was a couple of deaths that happened. Some competitors get burnt out. I know one lady who I follow, she decided to retire from competitive bodybuilding, not just
yeah.
because of the what she doing, how work she was taking. It was mostly because the expense. Because you got to think about it. Even as bodybuilding is not very lucrative. There's not a lot of
Oh God, no. You
because you
can't be
do,
in bodybuilding
yeah,
for the money. No. God no. You can't be in bodybuilding for the money. If that's the aim, even I know so many pro athletes, and I'm talking IFBB pro athletes, they're not getting anything from being a pro. You have to be, in my opinion, you have to be in bodybuilding for the love of it. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, there's positives and negatives that come off the back of the fact that bodybuilding is becoming a lot more popular. There's a lot of people that are coming into the sport, but the issue is the people that are coming into the sport that are staying for 1 or 2 years, they're then leaving the sport and actually tarnishing the sport by saying, oh, bodybuilding caused me to have this eating disorder, bodybuilding caused me to have this mental health issue. Realistically, it's not bodybuilding, it's you. So it's kind of the fact that people are using bodybuilding to either try and like mask eating disorders or to overcome issues in their life, when all bodybuilding is eating and training, man. That's it. I think the people that are thinking that they're causing all these issues, they're actually trying to use bodybuilding to fix their life, which at the end of the day, you have to just love the routine and the structure. Like me, again, I've been competing since 2019, so this is my 6th year, no, 7th year going into this, and there's not a day that I don't wake up and I'm like, yeah, can't wait to train. Right, genuinely not a day. Through my prep, through my off season, I don't struggle with eating, I don't struggle with being hungry. Like, if I'm hungry, I'm like, thank God, this means this is working. I think people think that they'll start a prep and then it gets hard and they're like, oh my God, this is hard. I don't know what you expected. It's literally meant to be hard. You're not meant to be inside out peeled. Why did you sign up to something if you thought it was going to be easy? It's not the point.
yeah. That's the thing that I learned a long time ago. Anything worth having is never going to be easy, because you know what, you have to work at it. You have to be, because with this thing about it, you have to be consistent, persistent, determined.
Hmm.
You have to understand there's so much you have to sacrifice. Like, and you talk about your earlier career, like that was working. You work in a lab as a, what was it again? Was it
I was a
pharmaceutical?
no, I am multiple myeloma research specialist. So, like
Oh,
a blood cancer.
oh, what was that like? What got you into that?
So my studies, I did pharmacology as my undergraduate degree, and then I did cancer pharmacology as my master's degree in London. And then I spent 4 years working for a company, a private company, doing research and development, working on their testing kits to improve, obviously, the testing for blood cancer. I loved it. I obviously it was a massive passion of mine since I was very young. I am an academic person, which has probably allowed me to really throw myself all into the bodybuilding side of things. Like, although I am natural, I still love learning about the assisted use. Like, for me as a pharmacologist, that is exactly my jam. I spent how many years understanding drug kinetics and the use of drugs, etc. So with that, I didn't leave cancer pharmacology to do bodybuilding. I left because it was no longer giving me happiness, right? So I'm a big advocate. Without getting the violins out, my life growing up was not easy. And what I have learned over these years is I'm always going to follow what makes me happy. Doesn't matter if it's less money, doesn't matter if it's more work. If it brings me happiness, I would rather do that 20 times over. And yeah, I got to a point within my other career that every single day I was just dreading going. And I was like, that's not me. So I'm going to do something about it,
Yeah,
basically.
I can say I'm getting tired of the grind. You know, when I was a much younger man, I was holding down two jobs. I was working as you call it, I worked at a petrol station. I was a gas
Hmm.
station down here.
Yeah.
I worked in textiles, worked two jobs. I went to school for a little bit, but not long. You know, I
Hmm.
just, life is about, trying to keep yourself above water, especially in the
Mm.
States. I
Yeah.
lived with my mom most of my life, and also had a job where I worked at a gentleman's club.
Okay.
I used to remember the guys who say, "Man, George, what's like?" I say, "Hey, dude, man, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you have the good days, have your bad days. The girls, when they make you money, they're good." Yeah, that's the thing is that you got to find something that makes you happy, that you
Yeah.
get to enjoy. There's a difference between having a job and having a career. A
Yeah.
job is just to pay the bills. A career is something you
Mm.
can really love. And bodybuilding, like I said, when I reach out to some of you ladies, you tell me your stories of how it was something that really fire your inspiration for your life. Again, it goes back to the expense of it because I say it like this. For this is how I like this. When you look at one side of it, like the male side of it, where they had their expense, like what they use and stuff like that. But truthfully, on show day, all you gotta do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it.
Yeah.
Put on some tan.
Yeah.
Y'all ladies, on show day, that's your big suspense. Your
Yeah.
suits, your hair, your makeup. You have to have that combination of both femininity and muscularity. You're wearing the
Mhm.
high heels. I
Mhm.
know I've talked to ladies who do
Um,
figures. They get tired of high heels because they're like, they keep the focus like, God,
See, you know what? There's actually a lot that I have to say on all of that because when it comes to it wasn't that I was bored of the grind. That's not why I left. So since I've actually had a job since I was 14, and since then, all the way through my degrees, etc., I always had around 2 or 3 jobs at one time. So they ranged from working in a pub. Do you know what a pub is?
yeah, it's a club. That's what
No, a
it's
pub.
like. It's a pub's like well, for us it's like a club. Remember, we might call it. You might call it a pub.
A
We might call
tap
it a
room?
club. We
No,
call it
no,
we call it like a nightclub or something like that or party club.
no. So a nightclub's like the nighttime. A pub is like,
It's
yeah.
still, to us, it's still a club. We call that club, be it
Okay,
day or
well
night.
it's
We
fine.
that's
Anyway,
you remember this? I'm America. This is America, girl. This is
yeah,
America.
we'll go
This is
with it. So
America.
I worked. So I worked in pubs. I actually was like a dancer in a club, like in a nightclub for a while. Like I've worked in Gap. I don't know. Yeah, you know Gap. Like I've done so many jobs, sales, like all sorts, right? So it's not that I have any issue with the grind. If anything, I work so much more now. So like I said, it was definitely moving away from just turning up for a paycheck to actually now, yeah, I actually work around 14, 15 hours a day now. So it's very different now. I've got my whole team. I'm a manager, I'm a director, like of 2 companies, it's just very, very different. But I love it. Like I think you could even see it in my face, right? And then when you talk about the expenses of the shows, etc., I'm someone, again, I am very frugal with everything that I do. I think even if I was someone that I had millions in my bank account, I probably would still be like this. But it's because I think when you've been brought up with nothing, you're always too scared to realistically spend when it's unnecessary.
I can feel you on that because my family, I grew up poor.
Yeah.
My parents were sharecroppers. That means we worked
Mm,
somebody else's land. I did it for a little bit when I was like about 10 to 12 years old, and I got my
mm,
job at the gas station when I was 16. We didn't have much anything. My parents were together 55 years, even though my dad was living up north in New Jersey, and my mom was here in North Carolina with the 6 of us, plus my two
wow.
nephews. She had to raise us pretty
Yeah.
much by herself. Me, I had 3 older sisters. I had an older brother, a younger brother, and then me and my oldest nephews.
Mm,
And I understood the value of money. Sometimes, hey, again, I used to. I was working since I was a lot younger than you. I was about 10 years old when I started working and doing stuff like
Mm.
that, little stuff, field work, and that's hard on, especially
Yeah.
like for me. I had this is a true story about myself. When I was just 39 years old, I had a heart attack.
Mm.
And it was at work. I wasn't sure it was a heart attack. I thought I was sick. I was working. I used to work in a meat packing process. I went to the cold department.
Right.
I thought I was getting a cold, so I go and I say I got to go home. But where I lived there was like a good way. So my sisters lived a little closer over. So I went over there, and then they said, "You're not looking right." I said, "Okay, I'm fine. Just go over here." I went to what do you call it? We call it urgent care. They go check you out. It's Ms.
Yes. Yeah.
MacArthur, something's wrong with your blood. We're going to send you to the hospital, which is Cape Fear Valley, one of the biggest hospitals in North Carolina. And they told me Miss McCarthy had a heart attack. I thought I was having that's what I thought a heart attack would be. But they told me that my fracture was very low. And that's when I first met my first British person was my doctor told me, Miss McCarthy, your fracture is under 12%. And we have to go to surgery for a pacemaker immediately. I said, wow. And then after that, I worked for a good bit, quit. My mom got sick. I took care of her. And then I have to take care of myself. I don't work anymore. I get what we call Social Security disability because it's hard to find. Like we have one of these in your chest. Most people don't want to hire you. Plus, I'm getting older now because I've been working since I remember. I got 2 bad knees with arthritis, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, But this is something I enjoy hearing your ladies' stories about what got you into it. Because at one point, like I said, I was almost 500 pounds. And then because I was thinking about my mom a long time, and I found food as a pleasure. And doing this content helped me, my mindset. But then it was time for me to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And right now I'm at 416. That's the lowest. I was a little low before, but then I had a situation, stuff happened and just, I'm trying to get back into it again. But that's the thing is about this. When I do interviews with you ladies and you share your stories, that really inspires somebody like myself to maybe, I can do better.
I think that's so lovely to hear as well, because I think, I am someone on social media where a lot, I guess you can have such perceptions of people, and I know people have perceptions of me. And the thing is, I know who I am and you know who you are, and people can have their thoughts and their perceptions of us. But as long as you know that you are a good person, you have good intentions, all those perceptions, that they don't matter, right? But I think that's why it's so amazing to have the opportunity to have these discussions, because it does allow people to see, I think so many people see my life now. I have my own home. I have an incredible life that I just can't even imagine is my life. And sometimes I just want to say to people, you have no idea what I've been through to get to here, because all they see is the right now. Right. So I think it's amazing that you are allowing people to also have these opportunities. But with regards to the expenses of the bodybuilding shows for women, I'm very fortunate in that I work with a bikini company. She's called Miss Bikini Fitness. She's in Scotland, and she does sponsor me for suits. I don't keep them, but I get to design them, and then she rents them or sells them following, my seasons. So that's incredible. And I actually do my hair and makeup myself. And as you can see, I am not that girl. I am every day. I don't wear makeup. I brushed my hair for you. You're welcome. I know.
I feel so special.
Yeah, you should.
I just all I did was just put on my shirt, shit, and shave. That was it. That was me. But I feel so special.
Yeah, so I'm not a makeup girl, but I did one makeup class, and I was like, right, because say I do 6 shows, makeup can be 140 quid, right? So I'm there saving 800 quid by just being yeah, that'll fucking do, and then the other side of it is tan. So you can, of course, get your tan done when you're there. I used to do my tanning all myself in the seasons to follow. Obviously now I have my partner, my man, sorry, apologies, my man.
No, don't apologize to me. Apologize to him, because is he there? Is he there with you?
Yeah, he's got headphones on, so he can't hear you. Do you want to say something?
You want to come in, son?
Okay,
you want to talk about?
Oh no, he's working.
Oh, okay. Well, we're telling you that's the thing is you got to remember he's a man. But okay, but yeah, that's the thing is that.
Yeah. So he does my tan now. So all those expenses you just mentioned, I've made sure basically that there are ways that you can minimize that. Like, but that's the same with the posing coaching team that I have. We have packages available to ensure that people don't get caught short on being like, God, these expenses are really piling up. So instead, we've got these packages to kind of help people